Hi, friends. Welcome to Direct Impact Broadcasting. The network of growth and transformation presents SOS for Leaders, where your host, Tywauna Wilson, will be sharing leadership and personal growth strategies. Let's jump right in.
Welcome to another episode of SOS for Leaders. I am your host, Tywauna Wilson. SOS for Leaders is a weekly podcast that offers strategies that you can use in both your personal and professional life. If this is your first time tuning into this podcast, welcome. I'm so glad you landed on the show. I hope you're able to take away some relevant strategies and tidbits that you are able to apply right away. If you are tuning in again, for a second or third or fourth time, I'm so glad and excited that you continue to listen week after week. If you all could do me a favor and share this podcast out to somebody who could benefit from hearing these relevant tips, would be awesome. I would really appreciate it. Today, we are embarking on a 4-part series that's all about making a positive impact on the lives of others through mentoring, training, teaching, coaching. This topic is so relevant in that we all need somebody to help us make a positive impact and to be able to move to the next level. To have those coaches in our life, those mentors in our lives, those teachers in our lives are priceless. When I think back over my life and over my journey, I can remember my first grade teacher, Miss Woodard, and I can remember her instilling in me just that reading is important, math is important. I can remember my kindergarten teacher and the positive impact, Mrs. Jones, and Mrs. Jones is still around and she runs into my mom from time to time, but I can just remember those people that had a positive impact in my life. I can remember after getting in my career, those mentors that I've had that still continue to pour into my life. And so it's such a very relevant and necessary thing to have other people who are able to put their footprints on our path and to lead us and guide us forward. And so how do you change a life? That's one of the questions to think about when you want to start making an impact on others. Today, we're going to talk about just that, making a positive impact on someone's life. So whether you're looking to mentor someone in their career, teach a friend a new skill or trade, or looking for another way to offer guidance and support to someone, the outcome you desire is always the same. You want them to be successful, because if you didn't, you wouldn't pour so much time and energy and love and patience into that relationship. So, are you ready to be that teacher that they need, that mentor, that coach, that support that they need? Today, we'll explore some practical ways for you to be able to make a positive impact on someone else's life through providing some teaching. So the first thing is figure out the relationship you want to have. What kind of relationship are you even looking to have? Do you want to be a teacher in the classroom, like an adjunct or, teaching in our elementary schools or high schools? Do you want to come alongside a friend and help them out once in a while? So every now and again, when somebody needs some encouraging words or expertise, then you would fill in and offer that support. Do you want to be a formal mentor and possibly in a business setting? Mentor somebody in their career, mentor somebody on business decisions. You might, if you want to teach in a classroom, you have to really think about that. And whatever you decide, it will dictate your next steps, because whether you teach in a classroom, whether you're mentoring a friend or you're mentoring in a business relationship, it's going to require the next steps to look a little bit different. For example, if you want to teach in the classroom, you might have to ask yourself, what skills do you have to teach? Are you prepared and trained to be a science teacher or math teacher or English teacher. Perhaps you might want to offer a night class at a community college or be an adjunct professor. Maybe they are looking for adjunct professions in your career specialty. Or it might be offering a webinar from your home to guide the students through some new skills. I know in the laboratory industry, they're always looking for career ambassadors to be able to offer presentations to college students and high school students to be able to guide them through their career decision choices. So figure out what kind of relationship you want to have, and then that will give you some next steps on how you need to be positioned in order to be able to really be successful in that relationship. The next step is to define the goal. It's all about goals, right? So once you've established your setting and gained a student or a set of students or a mentee or a set of mentees, you need to create a clear objective. What is the purpose of this teaching or mentoring relationship? What do you want the other person to get out of it? What do they want to get out of it? Remember, it's all about establishing mutual goals that create a win-win. When you are impacting somebody's life, it's not about you. It's really about them and what success looks like for them. So you're helping to create that win-win. So define the goals. You also want to go all in. Don't go into it unless you're willing to invest in the person. So don't go into it half-hearted. Don't go into it like you don't have time. Because once you are entering into a teaching or mentoring relationship, people are counting on you to show up and perform each and every time that they meet with you. Become more interested in helping them succeed as a person than marking their achievements off some list. So you want to be invested in that person. I know for me, I don't take a lot of mentees on because I don't have the time capacity to meet with each of these people individually, one at a time. And so if I know that I don't have that time to really commit and invest, then I won't commit to it at all, because it's important to make that personal investment in the life of the person that you want to impact. So be prepared to go all in, especially if you're working with our high school students. You might be the only person that they see that gives them hope, that gives them a chance, that really pours and invests in them. So go all in into the relationship. The fourth way is know when to stop and listen. It's not just about giving information. You'll find that the best outcomes in giving guidance to others is when you know what they truly need. And to find this out, you might need to lay aside your agenda. I know we have agendas and we're going to cover this specific thing today, but sometimes you have to set aside your agenda and just listen to them for a while, because you might have went in with an agenda and then something could have happened in their week that they really need to talk through, and they really need to speak to somebody about it. Their initial problems might not be what they need to solve. So they might come to you and talk about, well, I want to work on my career, but they might, as you start to talk with them, it could be that they need help with their time management. They need help with balancing their schedule. They could need help with self-esteem. So really talking with them to figure out what it is that they are wanting to accomplish, because it could be that there's something deeper going on. When you allow the other person room to talk, they will often come around to what's really bothering them and give you give them that enough time to be able to talk through it. And in that way, you're able to really make that positive impact and really help them. Sometimes it's just about listening. A fifth way is don't make assumptions. I know it's easier said than done sometimes, but don't make assumptions. Don't think you know everything, and you don't have to. Your mentee, your student, they are not expecting you to know everything. especially about the person that you're mentoring. So don't feel like you have to know everything about the person that you're mentoring or teaching to. Rather than assume anything, take the time to ask them about themselves, and that helps build the connection. That helps build the relationship, and it also helps you discover what they really want out of the relationship, the teaching or mentoring relationship. So don't make assumptions that you know what they want or know what they need. And then the last way in this particular podcast that we'll talk about is to be vulnerable. We've all made mistakes, right? I know I make mistakes daily. So we all make mistakes, but be willing to share your mistakes, your catastrophes, oh my goodness, do I have to relive that moment? There's a lot of lessons to be learned from other people's mistakes. And that's why mentorship is so good. Mentorship is all about access, information, and influence. And so being able to tell your mentee, your students, some of those learning lessons that you learned, like I did this and it wasn't a good business decision, or I made this assumption and this was the trickle down effect, something like that. Like I said, there's a lot to be learned in your mistakes. Your experiences are a valuable tool when it comes to teaching others. And really, that's what separates you. It's not about your education, the amount of degrees you have, the amount of certifications you have, the experience that you have, those learning lessons that you have, some of the mistakes that you made. Those are the things that really make you a gem and make you a value to those that you teach and coach and mentor. So mentorship is about sharing that experience. And these are just a few ways that you can start making a positive impact on the lives of others and being able to start that today. So whether you want to make it a positive impact on the next generation of leaders, on our high school students, on the people in your workplace, you can start today by rolling out these 6 ways of figuring out what kind of relationship you want to have, because that's going to determine your next steps. Is it going to be that teaching? Is it going to be that mentoring? Is it going to be that coaching? Is it going to be that from time to time I give you expertise? Once you figure out the relationship, define the goals, make it a win-win for both you and the mentee or you and the student. Go all in. Don't do it. If you're going to do it, don't do it at all. And go all in and be committed and be connected with your mentee or student. Know when to stop and listen. So know when to stop, because sometimes what you have on your agenda might not be what you need to cover for that particular session that you have with your mentee or student. So know when to stop and listen. Don't make assumptions that you know everything about your mentee, because you don't. You want to hear from them and get their perspective. So don't make assumptions, because you don't have to know it all either. And then be vulnerable. Share your experiences. Share your mistakes. We all know that there's no perfect person out here. So you don't have to act like you're perfect. Nobody's asking you to do that. There is value from being able to learn from your experience, learn from your mistakes, learn from, those things that make you unique. So in the end, the best way to make a positive impact on someone's life is to be open and to be honest and to, in your desire, help them and know how to treat that person. Honesty is crucial to the mentoring relationship and with that of your students. And remember, you're never too old to make a positive impact on somebody. You're never too young to make a positive impact. And you can start where you are, whether it's in your school, whether it's in your church, whether it's in your job, whether it's in your community group, whether it's in your social organizations. Start making an impact today, because at the end of the day, that's what we're all here for. We're here to impact somebody, and we all have a story to tell. So this is our first part on our mentoring of this 4-part series on mentoring and guiding others and making a positive impact on the lives of other people. I hope you were able to get some practical strategies out of today's podcast. Please share this out with anybody that could benefit or trying to figure out a way where they can start making an impact on the lives of others. I also want to invite you to my mentoring program in the Standout Leader Academy. You can go to standoutleaderacademy.com for more information. It's where I give mentoring sessions for career development for the next generation of leaders, where we meet on a bi-weekly basis. So go check it out if that is something that you need to be able to get some additional mentoring on your path. I would love to see you in the academy. I hope you all have an awesome day, and until the next show, be blessed.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of SOS for Leaders, where Tywauna shared nuggets of wisdom that you can use to win in life. Follow her on Facebook, Instagram, and connect on LinkedIn. And remember, the secrets of success in your life resides inside of you. When you know what your strengths are, you can utilize them to live an impact